The sky above the planet Relos used to shine bright and blue. Children once played under its warm light, and families worked in the fields without fear. But now the sky was dark. Smoke covered everything. The sun was only a weak shape behind thick clouds made of fire and dust. The war had come for them. And the people of Relos were losing. Screams echoed through the broken streets as alien civilians ran for shelter. Buildings that stood for hundreds of years collapsed like weak sand. Fire spread from house to house. The ground shook every few minutes as enemy ships dropped more bombs. Elder Rila, an old healer, stood in the middle of the destruction with tears in her eyes. She had lived many cycles, but she had never seen anything like this. Her people were peaceful. They had no armies, no weapons strong enough to fight invaders. The invaders were called the Narration, a brutal race known for taking worlds and leaving nothing alive. Their ships surrounded Relos like metal predators. Their soldiers marched through the city with cold, silver armor, shooting anyone who tried to run. Elder Rila raised a small communication device with shaking hands. Her voice cracked as she spoke into it. "Please, someone hear us. We need help. We are dying." Her message spread across the stars, carried by weak signals. But she did not know if anyone listened. She pressed the device again. "We beg for mercy. Please help the children. Help our people. Anybody, please?" Behind her, a building exploded, sending hot dust over her white robes. But she did not stop. She sent the message again and again. Others joined her, shouting into their own devices, crying for help. But in the heart of the city, inside a dark command bunker, the leaders already feared the truth. Commander Cyril stood with his officers around a flickering hologram map. His skin, normally bright green, looked pale. Red markers on the map showed where Draxian forces had taken control. Almost the entire planet was red. Only a few small areas of resistance remained, and they were falling fast. "Any response yet?" he asked the signal officer. The officer shook his head. "No, Commander. We sent messages to 39 systems. No answer. No help." "What about Earth?" another officer asked quietly. The room fell silent. Even the machines seemed to pause. For a moment, no one wanted to speak. Everyone on Relos knew about Earth. Everyone in the galaxy did. The stories said humans were different from all other species. Not just strong or brave, but dangerous. They fought wars no other race would survive. They evolved in ways no one understood. Some stories called them heroes. Others called them monsters. Commander Cyril swallowed hard. "We sent the message to Earth." And, someone whispered. No answer. A cold silence filled the bunker. If Earth ignored them, then it meant the humans had decided Relos was not worth saving. Or worse, maybe humans did not care at all. Outside, the cries of the people grew louder. Civilians ran through the smoke, holding their families, their pets, anything they could save. Ships tried to escape into the sky, but Draxian fighters shot them down one by one. Burning pieces of metal rained down over the city like falling stars. A small girl named Lyra hid behind a broken pillar, holding her younger brother close. He was crying, shaking, asking where their parents were. Lyra did not know. She only knew they had to stay quiet, or the Draxian soldiers would find them. She looked up at the sky, her big purple eyes filled with sadness. "Please, someone help us," she whispered. The sky remained silent. Only smoke answered her. In the bunker, Commander Cyril slammed his fist onto the table. "We cannot wait any longer. We fight with what we have left." "But we cannot win," an officer replied. "I know," Cyril said softly. "But we will not die begging." As the officers prepared for one final stand, the signal officer suddenly gasped. "Commander, the long-range scanner, something is happening." Everyone rushed to the screen. A faint light appeared in the corner of the star map. "What is that?" Cyril asked. "A ship." "No, too big." "A fleet?" "No, even bigger." The light grew brighter, spreading out like wings of fire. The scanner began to beep rapidly. "It's coming from the direction of..." The officer's voice trembled. "Earth." The room froze. The tiny blue light expanded quickly, faster than any known engine. Then more lights appeared behind it. 1, 2, 3, then dozens. A whisper spread through the bunker. They answered. Outside, even through the smoke and fire, the people noticed something strange happening in the sky. The clouds shook. The ground trembled. A deep rumble spread across the air like thunder. The Draxian ships paused. Their radar systems glitched. Their computers froze. Something massive was arriving. Elder Rila lifted her old face toward the burning sky. Her eyes widened, filled with hope and fear at the same time. "Is it them?" she whispered. No one could see clearly yet. No one knew if the humans came as saviors, or as monsters. But one thing was certain. Their cries had been heard. And the monsters of Earth were awakening. The sky of Relos trembled as the first human ship appeared. It did not fly in gently. It forced its way into the planet's orbit like a giant metal beast breaking through a cage. The ship was enormous, bigger than any Relian had ever seen. Its black hull reflected no light, as if it swallowed the stars around it. Strange blue energy lines moved across its surface like veins. Many on the ground thought the ship looked alive. Silence spread across the ruined city. Even the Draxian soldiers stopped firing as they stared upward, unsure of what they were seeing. Their helmets scanned the object but returned strange errors. Unknown vessel. Unknown technology. Unknown power source. One Draxian commander growled, "Impossible. No one builds ships like this." But the people of Relos knew. They whispered just one word. "Humans." The massive ship hovered quietly for several long seconds. Then, without warning, the clouds above it ripped apart as dozens more human ships entered the sky, forming a terrifying wall of steel. Some were long and sharp like spears. Others were wide and heavy like floating fortresses. The Draxian fleet panicked. What are those things? How did they arrive so fast? No engines can jump that distance. But still more human ships appeared, until the sky was filled with them. For the first time since the invasion began, the Draxian invaders felt something they were not used to. Fear. On the ground. Commander Cyril ran outside the bunker, along with dozens of officers and soldiers. They all stared at the sky in disbelief. The ruins of the city glowed blue from the light of the human fleet. "They came," Cyril whispered. "They truly came." Beside him, the young officer Mila covered her mouth with trembling hands. "But will they save us, or destroy us?" No one answered. Above them, several smaller human ships separated from the main fleet and shot downward like falling meteors. Their engines burned with a strange bluish flame that left glowing trails across the sky. Lyra, the young girl hiding with her brother, pointed upward. "Look, the monsters." Her brother hid his face. But Lyra did not hide. She watched with wide eyes, unsure if she should be scared or relieved. Human ships entered the atmosphere. The smaller ships slowed as they neared the surface. Their shapes became clearer, sharp, angular designs with dark metal and glowing blue lines. They looked nothing like Relian ships and nothing like Draxian vessels. They looked dangerous. Each ship landed slowly, dust blowing in all directions. The ground shook. Broken buildings collapsed further. Civilians crawled out from hiding places just to see what was happening. A low, deep sound echoed across the city. A door was opening. A ramp unfolded from the largest landing ship. Thick smoke poured out, making it impossible to see inside. The Relian civilians stepped back. The Draxian soldiers raised their weapons. Mila gripped Commander Cyril's arm. "What if they attack us too?" Cyril didn't know. The stories of humans were never clear. Some said humans protected the weak. Others said humans were violent monsters who only fought when angry. Right now, Relos needed them, whether they were monsters or not. The monsters step out. Heavy footsteps came from inside the smoke, slow, powerful, echoing like drums. Then a massive figure emerged. It was a human. But not like the ones in the ancient stories. This human stood almost twice as tall as Aurelian. Thick armor covered their body, black with glowing blue symbols. The helmet had no eyes, just a long, smooth faceplate. Energy pulsed from vents on their back. A Draxian soldier fired a shot in panic. The blast hit the human's armor and disappeared like it was nothing. The human turned its helmet toward the shooter, moving with a controlled, almost predatory grace. Then another human stepped out. And another. Soon, more than 20 armored humans stood in a formation, silent and still like statues. The Relian civilians trembled. Commander Cyril whispered, "They look like demons?" But then something unexpected happened. The first human removed its helmet. Under the armor was a scarred face. Strong jaw. Tired eyes. A look of deep anger, but not at the Relians. The human scanned the civilians, the ruins, the broken families. His expression changed. He was angry, furious, but not at them. He spoke through a deep voice that echoed across the city. "Who did this?" Elder Rila stepped forward, her hands shaking. She pointed at the Draxian camp in the distance. "The invaders, they hurt our people. They kill without mercy." The human's jaw tightened. He turned to his squad. "Prepare for engagement." The humans raised their weapons. massive, glowing rifles unlike anything the Draction had ever seen. The Draction react. The Draction commander shouted, "Open fire! Destroy them before they advance." Hundreds of Draction soldiers fired at once. The humans did not move. Their shields absorbed every blast. Energy danced around them like a blue storm. Then as one, the human squad stepped forward. 1 step. 2 steps. The ground cracked under their boots. The Draction had never faced anything like this. "Impossible," the commander whispered. "These are not soldiers, these are monsters." The Relos realized the truth. Commander Cyril watched as the humans walked into the storm of fire without fear. He finally understood. The stories were wrong. Humans were not monsters because they were evil. They were monsters because they were unstoppable. And they had come for one reason: to make someone pay for what was done to Relos. The sky above them rumbled as more human ships descended. The monsters of Earth had awakened. And the war was about to change. The battle began before anyone on Relos could truly understand what they were seeing. The Draction soldiers kept firing non-stop, their red plasma shots lighting the dark sky. The air smelled like burning metal and smoke. Buildings shook with every blast. Civilians hid behind rubble, covering their ears as the sound of war grew louder. But the humans walked forward without fear. Their armor glowed brighter with each hit. Blue shields sparked around them like lightning trapped inside glass. Draction weapons, famous for tearing through heavy tanks, did almost nothing to the human soldiers. Commander Cyril watched from behind a broken wall, his voice weak with shock. How can they survive this? Beside him, young officer Mila whispered, "They're not soldiers, they're something else." They were right. These humans didn't move like ordinary fighters. Every step felt heavy, controlled, and full of purpose. They didn't run. They didn't rush. They advanced like a storm that knew it could not be stopped. The first counterattack. The human commander raised his hand. His voice came through a speaker on his armor. "Return fire." In that moment, the battlefield changed. Human weapons unleashed bright blue beams that cut through Draction armor like hot knives through soft cloth. Every shot was precise. Every hit destroyed a target. Draction soldiers panicked. They tried to regroup, tried to hide, tried to escape. But the humans advanced calmly, firing with deadly accuracy. One human slammed a heavy shield into the ground. A glowing wave of energy burst forward. And hundreds of Draction troops were thrown into the air like toys. The Relians gasped. This was not war. This looked like judgment. A terrifying grace. The armored humans moved with a strange beauty, like dancers who trained for battle. They spread out with perfect coordination. One human leaped from a broken rooftop and landed on 2 Draction soldiers with crushing force. Another used a wrist blade to slice through enemy machines. A third soldier shielded a group of Relian civilians, absorbing fire meant for them. Lyra, the small Relian girl, watched from behind rubble with her little brother. Her eyes were wide, filled with fear and awe. She whispered, "They came to save us, but they look like monsters." Her brother shook his head. "They're monsters for the bad ones." Human compassion revealed. While the battle continued at the front, 2 humans broke formation and approached injured Relian civilians trapped under fallen stone. Their armor hissed as they knelt. The larger human slowly lifted a huge piece of debris with one hand, something no Relian machine could do. Beneath it, an old man lay crying in pain. The human spoke softly. "You're safe now." The old man stared at the towering figure, shocked by the gentle tone. Why help us?" The human's answer was simple. "Because someone hurt you." The humans might have looked like monsters, but their actions showed something else. A deep and powerful sense of protection. The Draction realized their mistake. Far on the other side of the city, the Draction commander screamed into his comlink, "Retreat! Retreat! These humans are too strong." But there was nowhere to run. A massive shadow passed over the battlefield as another human dropship descended. This one was even larger. The metal doors opened, and dozens more human soldiers stepped out. One Draction soldier dropped his weapon. His voice trembled. "What kind of species are they?" His commander answered with pure terror. "The kind we should never have angered." A message from the human commander. When the main group of human soldiers had cleared an entire block of enemy troops, their commander stepped forward. He placed his boot on a fallen Draction machine and lifted his helmet again, revealing tired human eyes full of rage. He activated his comm system, broadcasting his voice across the battlefield. "Draction forces," he said. "You attacked a peaceful world. You killed civilians. You burned their homes." His voice grew colder. "You begged for war. And now you have it. The Draxian soldiers froze. Even the ones still firing stopped for a moment. The commander pointed toward the horizon. Human ships, dozens more, were landing across the planet. Human weapons powered up. Human soldiers prepared for a full assault. Earth has heard their cries, he continued. And Earth does not ignore the helpless. The Relos understand. Commander Cyril watched in silence. For so long he feared humans. For so long he believed the stories that said humans were too dangerous, too violent, too unpredictable. But now he understood the truth. Humans did not fight for conquest. Humans did not fight for glory. They fought for justice. And once they chose a side, nothing in the galaxy could stop them. He turned to Mila and whispered, "They're monsters, yes. But they are the monsters we needed." A storm reborn. As the humans pushed the Draxian back, the sky above the city glowed with blue fire from more human engines. Thunder rolled across the planet. The ground trembling with each landing. Every Relian felt it. Hope returning to their hearts. Fear returning to their enemies. For the first time since the invasion began, the Relos could breathe. The monsters of Earth had stepped down onto their world. And the Draxian were about to learn what it meant to face humanity's wrath. The Draxian had conquered many worlds. They had crushed armies, burned cities, and broken entire species until nothing remained. They believed they were the strongest race in the galaxy. They believed no one could stop them. But on Relos, for the first time in their long history, the Draxian finally learned fear. The human soldiers pushed forward like an unstoppable wave. Their armor glowed with blue energy. Their boots shook the ground. Their weapons tore through enemy lines with terrifying strength. Draxian commanders screamed orders through their comlinks. Hold the line. Fall back. Regroup. But nothing worked. The humans kept coming. The first breaking point. On the eastern side of the ruined city, a large force of Draxian soldiers built a barricade using broken machines and metal walls. They believed they could trap the humans in a narrow street and crush them with heavy fire. Their cannons fired red plasma non-stop, turning the entire street into a river of fire. The ground burned. The air hissed. Even stone melted. The Draxian commander laughed. No one can walk through that. But when the flames slowly cleared, the Draxian soldiers froze. Their claws shook. Their eyes widened. The humans were still standing. Not one of them had fallen. Not one of them had been burned. Their armor glowed brighter as if the flames only made them stronger. A human soldier raised his weapon. A blue beam shot forward and shattered the entire Draxian barricade in seconds. Metal flew everywhere. Draxian troops screamed as shockwaves threw them across the street. The Draxian commander whispered, "This is impossible, impossible." But it was happening. Right in front of him. Panic spreads. Across the city, groups of Draxian soldiers hid inside buildings, hoping the humans would walk past. But the humans had scanners that could detect heat, sound, even heartbeats. They entered each building with slow, heavy steps, clearing rooms with perfect teamwork. Draxian soldiers tried to run, tried to hide, tried to surrender. But the humans were not hunting them out of cruelty. They had one goal: stop the invaders, protect the innocent. Every time a human approached a hiding Draxian soldier, they said the same thing in a cold, steady voice. "You hurt them. You don't get to run." The humans weren't killing in anger. They were delivering justice. A desperate Draxian plan. On the north side, a large group of Draxian officers gathered around a hologram table. Their voices shook. "We cannot defeat these humans. Our weapons fail. Our armor fails. Even our ships are useless against their fleet." One officer, younger than the rest, spoke with fear in his voice. What if the stories about Earth were true? What if they really are monsters?" His superior grabbed him by the collar. "Do not say that word." But deep inside they all believed it. The Draxian commander finally spoke. "There is only one chance. We must activate the super cannon." All officers gasped. "That weapon is unstable. It could destroy the whole city. It might kill our own troops." The commander snarled, "Better them than us." The super cannon. The Draxian super cannon was hidden in an underground chamber, built for destroying entire cities with one shot. It was forbidden technology used only when their armies were desperate. Today they were desperate. Draxian engineers rushed into the control room and slammed their hands onto glowing panels. The cannon roared to life. Red lights flashed. The entire ground shook. "Target the humans. Prepare for full discharge." But as they activated the weapon, someone else was already watching. High above, a human dropship scanned the growing energy source beneath the city. The reading was so powerful that the computer sent a loud alarm to every human soldier. Inside his helmet, the human commander heard the alert. He stopped walking. His voice dropped into a cold whisper. "They're activating a planet killer." He lifted his arm. "Team Alpha on me. We're going underground." The charge into darkness. For human soldiers broke off from the main battle and sprinted toward the underground tunnels. Their steps cracked the earth. Their energy shields sparked with power. Civilians watched them pass like shadows of war. Lyra, the young girl, pointed at the humans. "What are they doing?" Her brother answered softly. "They're going where no one else can go." The Relian people could only watch as the humans descended into the darkness beneath their city. The underground battle. The tunnels were filled with smoke and heat. Draxian soldiers lined the walls, ready to protect the cannon with their lives. But when the humans arrived, the battle lasted less than 30 seconds. Blue beams cut through the darkness. Shockwaves blasted through the tunnels. Draxian soldiers fell one after another. Then the humans reached the final chamber. The super cannon was glowing bright red, almost ready to fire. Draxian engineers screamed as they tried to protect it. They fired wildly at the humans, every shot useless. The human commander walked straight toward the cannon, ignoring the gunfire. He reached out, placed his armored hand on the side of the weapon, and crushed the core with a single squeeze. A giant burst of light filled the chamber. The cannon shut down instantly. Draxian engineers screamed and ran. The humans did not chase them. The threat was gone. The enemy finally understands. Back on the surface, the Draxian soldiers suddenly received a message in their helmets. Super cannon destroyed. Some soldiers fell to their knees. Some dropped their weapons. Some simply stared at the ground, broken. They finally understood something terrible. The humans could not be stopped. Not by fire. Not by bombs. Not by fear. The humans were not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for the people of Relos. And nothing, not even a planet killer, could stop them. For the first time in their history, the Draxian felt true fear. And they said the same word the Relians once whispered. Monsters. But now they understood what that word truly meant. Humans were monsters. Monsters who protected. The lights inside the human transport ship flashed red, and a deep alarm rang through the metal halls. Every soldier felt the vibration in their bones. The ship had stopped moving. It now floated above the alien battlefield like a dark shadow ready to fall. Commander Rourke stood in the center of the troop bay with his helmet tucked under one arm. His face looked calm, but inside he carried a storm. He remembered the message, the recorded screams of the captured colony. He remembered every voice begging for help, every cry that the aliens ignored. Now it was time to answer those cries. The human soldiers stood in rows, their armor plates locked tight. Most of them were silent. Some checked their weapons again and again. Others whispered to calm themselves. The ship shook lightly as the engines cooled down. Rourke stepped forward. "Listen up," he said. His voice echoed off the steel walls. "This is not just a mission. This is justice. What they did to our people." He paused. The soldiers knew the rest. They had seen the images. They had heard the screams. "This time," Rourke said, his voice becoming sharp, "we respond." A low growl came from the group. It was not anger. It was something deeper. Humanity had been silent for long years, hiding, healing, avoiding wars they could not win. The galaxy had called them weak, peaceful animals, easy prey. That belief was about to die. The dropship doors opened with a loud hiss. A cold wind rushed inside, carrying the smell of ash and smoke. Outside, the alien city lay in ruins, broken walls, burning towers, and thousands of confused enemy soldiers gathering below. They pointed their weapons at the sky, clearly afraid. They knew something was coming. They just did not know what. Lights turned on under the humans' boots. The floor shook. The drop platform moved forward. Rourke placed his helmet on. The visor sealed with a click. The world changed, turning sharp, outlined, and ready for war. "Team 1, he said calmly, "prepare to drop." The platform stopped at the open edge. There was nothing but open air below, a massive fall into the center of the alien army. "Remember," Rourke said, "they begged for mercy. But they gave none." He stepped off first. For a moment he fell through smoke and wind. The world rushed upward. Below him, thousands of alien soldiers scattered in panic. Their commanders shouted orders, but no one listened. Fear had already taken control. Then the humans' thrusters activated. Rourke slowed, landing with a thunderous crash that cracked the ground. Dust exploded around him like a bomb. The aliens froze when they saw him. His armor glowed a deep red, and the symbol of Earth shone bright on his chest. More humans landed behind him, heavy, tall, and silent. Their armor looked almost alive, pulsing like a heartbeat. Monsters, one alien whispered in terror. The humans, they brought monsters. Rourke lifted his weapon. It hummed softly, deadly, focused, precise. Forward, he commanded. The humans charged. They moved like shadows, fast and heavy. The ground shook beneath them. Every step made the aliens recoil. When the first shots fired, bright lines of light tore through the dark smoke. Alien soldiers screamed and ran. Some dropped their weapons. Others tried to hide behind broken walls. But there was no hiding now. Earth's soldiers advanced with calm, controlled fury. Each shot found a target. Each strike knocked the enemy down. The aliens fought back, but their weapons barely scratched human armor. Their attacks looked desperate, weak, like a frightened animal biting at steel. Rourke pushed forward through the enemy ranks. He didn't stop, didn't slow down. His heart beat steady. The cries of the colony played again in his mind. And each time he remembered them, his strikes became harder, stronger. An alien commander stepped out, towering and covered in spikes. It screamed a battle cry and charged. Rourke met it head-on. The clash echoed through the street. Sparks flew. The alien pushed with all its strength, but Rourke didn't move. He grabbed the creature by the throat and lifted it off the ground. "This," he said through his helmet, "is for every voice you ignored." He slammed the creature into the ground. The impact shook the road. The alien did not rise. The remaining soldiers panicked. They dropped their flags and ran in every direction. The humans did not chase them, they simply walked forward, step by step, unstoppable. The sky above grew darker, filled with smoke and thunder. More human ships entered the atmosphere, glowing like falling stars. They spread across the battlefield, and every alien who looked up felt their fear grow. Humanity was awake. Humanity was angry. And the galaxy would finally learn the truth. Earth did not create monsters. Earth became them, when someone hurt their own. The alien capital city trembled under the weight of war. Smoke rose from every direction, and the sound of distant explosions echoed like rolling thunder. But the loudest noise, the one that shook the enemy the most, came from the humans marching through the streets. Earth's soldiers were unstoppable. With Commander Rourke leading the charge, the humans pushed deeper into the enemy territory. They moved like one solid force, each step heavy, each strike precise. Their armor glowed through the smoke, turning them into shining silhouettes in a city covered with ash. But while panic filled the alien ranks, something else began to rise among them too: anger. The alien high command watched the battlefield from their towering palace. Their screens showed humans cutting through their armies. Whole squads falling. Defense towers collapsing. "They were supposed to be weak," one general hissed. "They hid for years," another replied. "They avoided all conflict. We thought they were afraid." "They are not afraid," the high commander said with a slow, cold voice. "They were waiting." The generals turned toward him, confused. Waiting for what? The high commander pointed at the screens. Humans pushed forward like a storm, breaking through barricades, smashing enemy lines. "They were waiting," he said, "to be pushed too far." Back on the battlefield, Rourke and Team 1 reached the first power station that ran the city's shield grid. It was a massive structure, surrounded by alien heavy troops and automated guns. If they didn't destroy it, enemy reinforcements would keep coming. Rourke raised a fist. The humans stopped instantly. Private Sonia scanned the building. "Sir, it's heavily guarded," she said. "Auto turrets, armored units, drones, this is the main defense hub." "So we break it," Rourke said. The humans spread out. Their armor dimmed to low power mode, melting into the shadows. Even in heavy gear they moved surprisingly soft, almost silent, the kind of silence that made enemies uneasy. When the first alien patrol passed by, they didn't even realize humans were only meters away. One by one the humans took out the guards with quiet strikes. No noise. No alarms. Only fear left behind. Then Sonia planted charges around the main gate. "Ready?" she whispered. Rourke nodded. "Light them." The explosion tore through the building, sending metal and fire into the air. The blast was so bright it lit the whole street. Enemy troops scrambled, shouting, panicking. Humans broke through the gate. "Fall back. Fall back." Rourke stepped through the smoke like a shadow turning real. His visor glowed red. His team followed, their movements sharp and deadly. Inside the station the aliens tried to form a defense line, but the humans were faster. They moved with perfect coordination. Every time an alien raised a weapon, a human shot first. Every time an alien tried to run, a human cut off the exit. Within minutes, the entire power station was under human control. "Shut it down," Rourke said. Sonia moved to the main console. Sparks flew as she ripped open the control panel and connected her override tools. "System collapsing," she said. "Shields falling." Outside, the city's massive energy barrier flickered, buzzed, and then died with a deep, echoing boom. Across the planet, alien soldiers looked up and froze. Their final protection was gone. Meanwhile, High Command reacted. Alarms screamed across the palace. The High Commander slammed a fist on the table. They took the power station? How? No one answered. Their army was losing control. Their weapons were failing. Their soldiers were fleeing. Every time they tried to regroup, humans smashed through their lines like they didn't even exist. "Prepare the planetary broadcast," the High Commander ordered. "We will issue an emergency command. Human ships above the planet." Captain Lena watched the shield collapse from orbit. Her crew cheered. "They did it," she said softly. Rourke and his team broke the main hub. "Orders, ma'am?" an officer asked. Lena stood tall. "Prepare atmospheric entry." We joined them. Dozens of human ships lit their engines. Their hulls glowed like burning meteors as they dove toward the planet. The aliens below saw them and screamed. Back on the ground, Rourke stepped outside the destroyed power station. The sky was filled with falling human ships, hundreds of them streaking down like angry stars. Private Timo stared upward. "Sir, that view." Rourke nodded slowly. His voice was calm but heavy. "That," he said, "is the real beginning. Because now all of Earth was coming. Not just soldiers, not just weapons, but every force humanity kept hidden for decades. The tide had turned. The aliens had made humanity bleed. And now humanity was done holding back. The sky burned with the light of falling human ships. They came down like a rain of fire, spreading across the alien capital. Every street, tower, and battlefield glowed under their bright engines. The aliens ran in every direction, shouting warnings, calling for help, yet no help arrived. Humanity had come in full force. Commander Rourke watched as the first wave of dropships landed around the destroyed power station. Doors opened and more soldiers, medics, drones, and armored walkers stepped out. It was no longer just a small strike team. It was an army. Captain Lena landed moments later, her boots striking the cracked ground. She removed her helmet and walked toward Rourke. Her face showed relief, but also determination. "You opened the path," she said. "Now we finish it." Rourke nodded. "Status of the fleet?" "Every ship is in orbit," Lena replied. "No alien reinforcements. We cut all their communications." A rumble shook the streets. Heavy human walkers, towering metal machines, moved forward, their cannons humming with power. Drones flew above them in tight formations, scanning every corner. The humans were no longer fighting to survive. They were claiming justice. Inside the alien palace, panic filled the command center. The High Commander stared at the screens showing humans flooding the capital city. "They are everywhere," a frightened general said. "We cannot push them back." The High Commander clenched his teeth. "Activate the planet-wide comms. Now." A technician switched on the broadcast system. The High Commander stepped forward, his voice shaking with anger. "To the humans," he said, "you have gone too far. You must stop your attack. Surrender your forces or we will." A sudden explosion shook the palace walls. Dust fell from the ceiling. The transmission cut out. The aliens stared at each other in fear. "They are here," one whispered. "Humanity reaches the palace." Rourke led the front assault. With hundreds of soldiers behind him, he marched toward the towering palace gates. Alien defenders fired desperately from the walls, but human shields absorbed the shots easily. Walkers returned fire with powerful blasts that broke the gates open in seconds. The palace entrance collapsed with a thunderous crash. Humans rushed inside. The halls echoed with footsteps. The alien guards tried to slow them down, placing energy barriers, dropping force fields, but nothing held. Humans broke through every defense like it was made of paper. Rourke moved directly toward the command chamber, his visor glowing with battlefield data. "Commander," Lena said through the comms, "satellite confirms High Command is in that room." "Good," Rourke replied. "Let's end this." Two human soldiers placed charges on the command room doors. "Clear," they shouted. The explosion blasted the doors inward. Rourke and his team entered the chamber. The confrontation. The High Commander backed away as humans stepped inside. He had always believed humans were weak, Emotional creatures. Not this. Not towering warriors in glowing armor. Not silent figures moving with cold purpose. Not monsters of steel and fire. You cannot do this, the High Commander shouted. You are breaking galactic law. Rourke stepped closer, visor shining. You broke it first. You attacked our world, the alien said. We took prisoners, yes, but you humans should have surrendered. Rourke's voice turned deep and hard. They begged for mercy. You ignored them. The alien commander trembled. We didn't think humans would ever respond like this. Rourke pointed at the burning city behind them. You didn't think we could. Humanity's final message. Rourke activated his communicator. His voice spread across the alien capital, broadcasted through every street, every battlefield, every ship. This is Commander Rourke of Earth. All human soldiers paused what they were doing. The aliens looked up, listening. For years you called us weak. You said we were peaceful because we were afraid. You said we hid because we were fragile. But you never understood us. His voice grew heavier, filled with controlled anger. Humans are peaceful because we choose peace. Humans avoid war because we value life. But when you hurt our people, when you destroy our homes, when you ignore our cries. He glanced at the High Commander. We do not stay silent. The room felt like it held its breath. We wanted peace, Rourke said. You forced us to become something else. All across the city, humans slowly raised their weapons, not firing, not attacking, simply showing their strength. Remember this message, Rourke continued. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not prey. Humanity is not afraid. His visor glowed bright red. If you hurt us, we become monsters. The alien High Commander's knees buckled. Rourke finished with one final line. Let this be the last time you hear cries go unanswered. The end of the war. Human forces surrounded the entire palace. Thousands of alien soldiers dropped their weapons and surrendered. The city grew quiet. Fire still burned, but the fighting had stopped. Rourke stepped outside, the wind blowing ash past him. Lena joined him. It's over, she said. No, Rourke replied softly. It's only the beginning. Because now the whole galaxy would hear Earth's message. And they would never